Good morning, viewers. Dr. Zaka here, Chief Executive from Expert Council Clinic of Lahore. And today, as usual, we're gonna have the same theme, improvement of the patient well-being and the healthcare system. But our source of information today is not gonna be from Pakistan. We will talk with someone out of United States of America. And here we have Dr. Patricia Southerly, who is our Chief Hospitalist and has been in leadership role for almost 4 years. Dr. Patricia Southerly finished her residency in 2018, and it seems that she was preparing for this leadership role even before that. So let's have a nice chat with Dr. Southerly and ask her how she came to like this leadership role and how is she holding out now, because it seems like she is not giving up very soon. So Dr. Southerly, good morning. Nice to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
So, as you told me, in 2018, you finished your internal medicine residency. Correct. And then you started as hospitalist, and then you soon jumped into the leadership role. So what inspired you? How you got into this leadership role?
Yeah, so during my residency, our hospital was actually being purchased by another company. And during that, when I was the chief of my third year, I got to be involved in a lot of those meetings and kind of see the leadership part of it and how we can bring that to patient care. And our director, our residency director, standing up for the residents and the clinicians with the new decisions and the new company taking over. And I just was really inspired by that and really like to kind of be a part of those meetings to try to help everybody.
Got it. And it's almost like for about 4 years you've been in this role. So how are you holding out? You're really liking it?
I do. I really like it. There's some days that I wish I could just go back to being a clinician. You're just kind of tired of it. But for the most part, I try to just keep my head forward and look at my goal of what I'm trying to accomplish. And that's standing up for both my clinicians as well as, more importantly, the patients too. And making sure that they're not getting kind of pushed over with the business side of medicine and make sure we're doing what's right for everybody.
Yep. So that's certainly, as you told us, it's just all about patient well-being and the employees' well-being, everything together. And you, I'm sure, do a lot of background work, but we usually see you in the morning meetings coming out as a leader, and there are a few things you discuss on daily basis. It seems like they're really important that you have to remind us, hammer us again and again with those numbers and metrics.
Right.
So let us discuss those numbers and how they help improve healthcare system and the patient care.
Yeah.
The most important I'm really curious about is the readmission rate. So what is readmission rate and how it affects the patient? Why are we so focused on reducing our readmission rates?
Yeah. So readmission rate is when somebody has been in the hospital and admitted, and we discharge them to home or to a rehab facility, and they come back to the hospital and get admitted again. Most of the time for the same complaint, sometimes can be for something different, and get admitted within 30 days of being discharged from the hospital. And that's something that's important to us and the patients because most patients want to be at home. They don't want to have to keep coming back to the hospital. We want to make sure that we're, setting them up well for when they leave the hospital, following up with a primary care doctor. So that way those little things can be taken care of before it gets so bad again that they're back in the hospital.
Got it.
So it's a big thing for us to make sure that these patients are having what they want. One of the things we do to kind of help with that are advanced care plannings, meaning we talk about their goals of care. If you've been admitted to the hospital for 30 of the last 31 days, is this the quality of life that you want? Are these the goals that you want? And addressing those with the patients to keep them at home where they want to be.
So trying to keep a nice balance between what care you provide and what patients want or need.
Correct.
So find a nice balance so that they don't keep coming back to the hospitals.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, then length of stay. That's another thing, since residency, at that time, I didn't hear much about it. But now in the meeting as a hospitalist myself, at least in the last 5 years, there's a lot of stress on reducing length of stay in the hospital. So how does longer stay in the hospital affect the patient, and what's the point of reducing length of stay?
Yeah. So it's important to look at length of stay because it can have a pretty adverse effect on the patient if they're here for a long time. Not only is it the psychiatric component of they get depressed, they're in the hospital, their sleep-wake cycle is interrupted, they're being disturbed, they don't get good sleep. There's also risk of hospital-associated infections and different they can catch different diseases here, different
Got
things
it.
like that. So we want to make sure that they're only here for as long as they need to be here.
Like line infections, urinary tract infections, DVTs, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And falls, not to forget.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Falls too is a big one with patients aren't in their home environment. They're on different medications. They get up to go to the bathroom at night and take a tumble and then have some adverse effect from that.
And if I'm not wrong, I think we used to discuss kind of mortality in these meetings early on, but lately it's gone like fallen by the sideways. So I'm not sure we have improved on mortality or it's not important anymore.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
So it's still important. It's something that we still look at, but our goals have actually been pretty good at goal with that. So it's, something that we focus on where we can improve. But, it is important to look at our mortality rate to see how we're doing against other hospitals and kind of the standard of care to make sure that we're providing the best care for our patients.
Got it. So apparently we have improved on that, but now we're focusing on the chronicity of the disease.
Correct.
Give patients better life, better quality life, not just prevent their death and sickness.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So that's pretty much for our daily meeting. Now let's go back to, there are a lot of meetings behind the scenes. I'm sure you have like a gazillion meetings a day with all the management and stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about those meetings, what you guys discuss in those meetings.
Yeah.
Are they related to both patients and the employees, or is it just about making money and all that stuff? So what is it about?
So, there's always the business side of medicine. So some is the contract with the hospital. A big thing that we do and focus on too is we're a contracted company for the hospital. So it's maintaining good relationships between the hospital and our company to make sure that everyone's on the same page with our goals and our metrics, and making sure our goals are aligned with that. The other thing too is the employee well-being. So making sure that everybody, has the tools that they need to succeed and making sure that they're okay and not too overwhelmed or overworked. How can we change the staffing model to make it better for the providers and allow them to do better patient care? And then also the patient. So, we also look closer at the metrics, what we can do, what we can change from an administration level to make those metrics better, or system level too.
Got it. And I also assume there must be some cross meetings between different teams, like we are hospital as a single team, then there's a respiratory therapist team, physical therapist team, technicians, aquatechs, all that kind of stuff. So they must come together too to see how we do across each other.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll meet with different, I'll meet with usually the heads after they have their separate meetings. We'll kind of all meet together and say, what can we do for you from the hospitalist team? And they're saying, this is what we need from respiratory therapy, or this is what we need from case management. And we try to go back and forth to help each other out and bridge those communication gaps.
Okay, wonderful. So that's something, to me, leadership is just improvement of yourself and your team.
Yeah.
So tell us a few things that I'm sure you're very busy, so normally do, if not daily, to improve yourself, and how we can do something to improve ourselves.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do is I've actually read like a couple of books. My dad was always in management when I was younger. So the first thing whenever I started to get into leadership, I was like, I was like, will you give me a list of books to read? So he gave me a little book of things to read. And it's just, trying to read different things of how to manage people, how to communicate more effectively. That's been a big thing for me. They do, our company provides like boot camp courses for us to try to learn different ways of communication, different ways of bettering ourselves. I always try to sign up for those so that way I can try to communicate more effectively and try to be, do better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I try to read books too, and sometimes it sounds funny reading the book. You feel like, okay, you got the perfect ideal situation, but when you try to apply that to your real life, oh my God, you think, oh, he didn't write that part. Like how I'm gonna put
it. They didn't respond that way in the book.
Anyways, that's something. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
It was a really nice chat.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully you inspired our viewers and we'll have some insights that we didn't have before. So viewers, thank you very much for watching today. This was Dr. Patricia Southerly, again, our chief hospitalist for our program in this hospital today. And I hope this information was very informative and helpful for you guys. As I always say, if you have any suggestions, experience, or information, do share with us, do comment on the links below, because your opinion, your suggestion can help improve someone's life. and improve healthcare system as well as patient well-being. So thank you very much for watching today. See you in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.